So Facebook doesn't have a in the groups a live button like I could just punch on anytime in that group. Now they got, you gotta do an event. If you guys even know what that is, he wouldn't even know. You gotta do an event like I do with my other stuff. So I'm like searching around going, oh no, here we go again, right? And what it was is they changed something. So I guess I'm gonna have to schedule every Thursday at 6 o'clock unless I change it. Do you hear me, Kathy Joe? I was having a panic attack. Live button came up missing in the group. Gone. So I said, well, I'll sit over here in my comfy chair and I'll mess around with it. And it said you gotta start an event. So you should be able to find it in the event section. I'm gonna check it out later. Oh my God, there's always something. In the meantime, we got this painting going on. I should be able to finish it tonight. Another thing for me to do, right in events, right? I might stand up with some of this chair is killing me. I've been sitting down too much doing paperwork, and I started doing taxes. I got everything pulled out. What a mess. Ugh. Yeah, I sent it out. That's for me. It asked when I want to invite people in my group, and I hit everybody. I usually just do tags. It says tags, and when you hit tags, you tag everybody in your group. Yeah, I just did it just now. All right, so here's our painting. We're basically almost done with it. I don't know anybody that did it. If you didn't, you're gonna have two parts. This is part two. We are on the trees right there. This other light that I bought, it does not work. I am so disgusted. These lights are, I seen the lady that runs this company. She did get a whole bunch of new lights, and they're not these ring lights. So I'm going to text her and ask her what lights they are, because this is ridiculous. I can't constantly be, $30 now. I'm like almost 40. I'm like almost $200 in lights. I could have bought one really good fancy one, but I don't know what to get. So I see she's got a bunch of square solid ones. So I'm going to ask her, this light, it's not even, oh, God. The button there's blue. And then when I turn it on, no difference, right? There's no light coming out of it. I turn the other one around, that one's all right. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to, it went off. I give up. All right, so we are going to, I got colors on here. I put, for the rest of this, I got the burnt umber. Right, raw umber, burnt umber. It's the darker brown. Either raw or burnt would be fine. I got the burnt umber. And then the sienna. Burnt sienna. That's just an orangey brown. And I got the light and the dark cadmium yellow. You could use any yellow, really. And I got a little bit of the ochre. And then I got the green, sap green. I put a little bit of phthalo green there, but you can just use straight green. I don't have the darker sap green here. I think it's on the other side. So, we left off at the trees right here. So I'm going to want to do, I had to wash my brushes out. I'm going to want to do, let's do a little island over here. Oh, I got the green on the brush. I'm going to pick up that burnt sienna. There's a little green on there too, which is fine. We're going to need to make an island like a little less than half right in here. We're going to kind of watch a little island here. Kind of bring it up and then down. Like that. I don't think it goes quite all the way over, but oh yeah, it does. And then it's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to take a little yellow. I'm going to need some white on here, some white either. I'm going to kind of lighten this up a little bit. There you go. Do you guys, when you're watching this class, do you download the picture to watch the class, or no? You should do that. That'll help you. I don't know if you were following me, which I don't think so, but if you are watching it, you should have the piece of paper. Then you can make little notes about what color. Just put little notes next to it, what I used, on the piece of paper. Then you'll have it as a reference when you go to paint. I don't know if you know that, but that's what I would do. I take notes as I'm doing it, and I write things down. I'm gonna keep. I got a thing here. I got all our every class except for the first two. I didn't keep everything. I go back and look. It's a pile of crap. So it's just the classes that we did weekly. I keep everything. Hey Jackie. So you should like download this when we do a class, whatever it is, and then make notes, and then you can go, because like when I plan a painting, I told you I have a little book and I scratch things out. Maybe I'll say night scene. Maybe I'll say I think this would look good in blue. Maybe yellow ochre would be here. I don't know if I'll paint this part. I'm taking a fan brush here. So those little notes, because you got stuff in your head, or if you watch somebody do one, same thing. That way, those little notes on the side, it's like a little, little bar of things you could do. So just so you guys know, that would help you a lot. I got to thinking about the other day, I don't know how many people are actually downloading and watching this, All right, so I need some white. 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 Back. I had some over here. Give it a... What do I got? I need to get some thick white, which I haven't done. What's this one? I need a dry brush too. This is a dry brush. I washed all those big ones, but they're not really dry. I'm trying to get that big one dry so I can dry brush over top of this. But I got a small one too. These little ones were two. A little white on here. There's white, there's yellows, there's greens, there's browns. Sienna. Of course, ochre. No more yellow, white. Okay. Where'd it go? Which one was I using? I was using this one. Okay. So, got a little light color on the bottom there. We'll wait for that, but we're going to start a tree. And we were going to use that fan brush I got. Wait a minute, there's two of them here. This one is better. This old Bob Ross one has kind of got a curve in it. And all the trees keep coming out curvy. So this is an old Grumbucker one. Is this the one that's curvy? No, this one's... One of them's too curvy. This one's straighter. It's like straight. You want to go up and down. So we're going to use just like Bob Ross. And I'll show you the way I do it. Alright, so grab your greens. Mostly on the ends. Nice and thick on the ends. Don't be afraid. Kind of smooth it out. The paint. Pull it out and then smooth it out. And then how far up does he get this? Get this up into here. He kind of goes back and forth. Oh, wait, no. First he makes a, like that. And then he goes back and forth. This is what he does. You don't want to make it even like soldiers. You want it to be a little odd. If you make it perfect, it'll look like a brush roller or something. You want it to be a little, you want to see some sky behind it. You want it to get bigger as you go down. Kind of thin in the middle and then rock out some long ones. Make sure you have paint on there too. I didn't have paint. So there's a few long ones too. And then just all the way down. Need some air behind there. See, I don't like doing these. I hate them. So I'm going to do it with my my flat brush. See, I'm better with a big round one too. So here is my flat square. Now I'm going to chisel the edge. Oh, it's not quite clean yet either. I didn't clean it real good. Close enough. We're going to have to clean some of these brushes a little bit more. I did some last night this morning, but I didn't do it real good. So I'm just going to kind of smooth it out with my hand. Get a nice chiseled edge on it. Pick up my greens again. And I'm going to do the same thing behind it. Make a line, then rock back and forth. I'm not liking this either. Hold on. Let's use a smaller flat. There's a smaller one. You gotta learn to use whatever works for you. Now, if you're good with those stupid fan brushes, you're going right ahead. That's what he uses, and people love them. I could never. I feel like they're too bulky. Now, my smaller one I use for the trees, whatever that is. That might be all right if I can find it. Let me see. That one with the cutout inside edges there. This one. Let's try this one. Let me finish with this one. This green ain't dark enough either. I think I added a little blue to it. I got the blue out. I think I added a little bit of phthalo blue. It's a dark green. See how light that is? Need that a little darker. So I'm going to take a little bit of this blue. And I'm going to add it to that green. Let's try this smaller flat. See if I can get how I want it. You guys really ain't got to have all these brushes, but you'll find it. You'll be better with some brushes. That's a little better than you are at others. With others, it's just the way it is. Or should I say, you'll be more comfortable. Darken this up a little bit up here. Too light to me. That looks better to me. Darken this up a little bit. I don't think this... Well, you put some highlight on here, so once I get the highlight on, it'll look a little better. He's got a couple trees in here. Well, some of that background to show through, too. Oh, it's a little too light to me. Let's darken it up a little bit. I think he's got like 3 back there. We don't need that many. And then he highlights it. Now, I think he does all of them first and then lights it, but we're going to do it, highlight it right now. So he's got like a, looks like a little of the sienna maybe in the gold, right in with that green. It's not real light, it's not real dark. Somewhere in between the yellow and the green together. You want it lighter though. You want it lighter so it's going to show up. There you go. Yeah, freaking I'm like going to get on, you know. I battled 20 minutes where the dog kept knocking my TV thing over. Keeps knocking my blankets down. I think he thought I had food. So now the thing's underneath this ottoman. You can't have any music on. Oh, it's another whole thing right there with the Facebook and the noise. I'm afraid to even, you heard me, I'm afraid to even hum a song. I don't get fined. I told you I had 27 violations on my reels. And it's all for music that they let you choose. It's right when you're on the thing. Here you can pick out things that you can put sparkles on there. You can, you can make it animated. You can make it move around. Then they got audio. So they give you you could just pick out what you want. Easter music, anything you want. Well, I couldn't figure out why my reels weren't moving, because I make some money. I make good money on that. Nothing. I didn't make crap last month. And I didn't even know about it. Now everybody's like, this happened and that happened. Well, they keep changing the rules, people. How are you supposed to know what's going on, I'm still mixing the green and yellow. Just lighten up a few pieces here and there. Just slightly. You don't want a lot. You just want a little bit. All right. Keep those dark in the back. These should be a little darker. I don't know why it's not coming out dark enough. I'm going to add a little. I'm going to get my Phthalo Green out. Always coming out start today. That is what I used, right? Go back to my handy dandy chart I made. Huh? Oh, I used sap green and phthalo green, so I was right. This is darker. Duh, Diana. Your phthalo green is darker. I use more phthalo green than the sap green. See how light that is? So now I'm going to come in here and just darken this up a little bit. You don't have to do the whole thing, but to say, why is that so light? So I'm going to darken up a little bit here and there with the phthalo green, which you can see is a lot darker. I have to relighten some of this. There you go. All right, now I can go back over with a little of the lighter green and yellow. Just a touch of any brown, just to tone it down a little bit. Now I can go back over these. There we go. That's better, a little darker. Okay, now I'm going to put some grass down here too. That's anything you got. Some yellow and white, a little yellow. Kind of a beigey color. Put a little yellow ochre in there too. Is yellow ochre right here? Yeah. You're just kind of making a turn the brush, whatever you got, just dab it and turn it. Make it a nice beachy looking thing here. I'll add a little white. Now you could, probably should have done in the first place, use your big 1-inch brush and jabby. Wipe it off. It's jab yellow and white, a little yellow ochre, touch of green, touch of brown. Tone that white down. Let me jab. Yeah, that's better. That's how Bob Ross would do it. Right? Let's see wood. He's also got a little water line going there. We'll do the water line after. Yeah, there's like a little water line, so you want to keep it like underneath here with the island. You want to keep like some, like a lighter shade, because it's like going to be a water line when I get done. All right, so let's see. Let's try this little skinny one with the pieces out. All right, and I'm gonna pick up my dark green, the phthalo green. There's a big difference to figure out why it was not dark enough. Mix a little bit of the sap in a little bit, and I am going to come at the top of this paint. This comes right off the thing. You want to leave some of that yellow tree showing right here because it's behind that tree. So most of it shows, so I'm going to just like chew just like he does, just like that. Then he's got one that shows like right here. It doesn't gotta be perfectly straight, it should have a little lean to it, just like that. Alright, so now we're gonna take that phthalo green, a little bit of the sap green, mostly phthalo, the darker green, and we're gonna, same thing, we're gonna just use the edge of the brush and we're gonna rock back and forth. Yeah, that's better. This brush is better. That one was way too big for me. It's like a third of the size. This size is too big for me anyways on this painting. Be better in one of my big paintings, and this one's not. It's too much. Oops. These are kind of like a skinny tree, like he kind of mashes this in like this, you know. Does it all the way down. He adds the trunk afterwards. And mind you, don't line it up like a brush. You know what I mean? You don't want to You want it to be uneven. You want some symmetry to it. You want it to kind of look the same, but you don't want it to be like perfectly in a row. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Lined up like soldiers, all perfect. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? And mine's not gonna look the same as his. I'm not even gonna try. So get it as close as you can. This section kind of flops down a little bit. Yeah, I need to fix this part. I don't like it now. Yeah, that's better. Got a lot of colors in it. It looks pretty. Lots of colors. So what I was going to do was, if I couldn't get that live button to work, sometimes it is Facebook, you know. So, okay, why isn't my phone plugged in? Let me plug my phone in. I had it plugged in. So, you know, I don't want to ask again because it's always something. We were talking today. I had classes today. What was it? It was a big thing with everybody. We're all losing our minds. Oh, you guys knew about it. What the heck was it? I don't even remember. It's always something. Oh, I forget what it was. It wasn't that long ago. So I was like freaking out, you know. Hey, Jim. How you doing, buddy? So I got this small, I can't work with the big fan brush. I'm not a big fan brush fan. While I got all you guys on here, I was going to do every Saturday in that other group, today, which I knew this, but it didn't come through my mind. Any videos I make inside these groups, I cannot share. I can make a group on my Facebook page, on my unofficial page, the other one I have, and I can share into groups, but you cannot share from a group. I kind of knew that, but I never really had to share anything because I kept everything in a group. So anything I put in the group, if I've already made it in somewhere else and I store it at YouTube, I can do that. But for some reason, they won't do that. So I'm going to keep some of this stuff to a minimum in that group anyways because I know I can't share it. But I never dawned on me about the videos. So she's saying all the videos that I make, I either save them on YouTube or I can share them with you, but I got to make sure I put them where I want them before I send them. Now, if I decide to do a live class in here, which I do all lives on Thursdays, they stay here. I can't share them anywhere else. So the only way anybody can watch these videos that are in here is if they're in here. And the same thing applies to the Artsy Rose group. Anything I make in there stays in there. So I'm going to keep that to a minimum because that's a free group. They don't pay, you know. So a couple times a month, nice and short, something instructional. That's what I'm going to do. Just so you're aware of that I wasn't trying to get out of stuff. Sometimes there's a reason for my madness. So we had classes. And I mean, I knew that we couldn't share some stuff, but that didn't dawn on me, you know. So just so you guys are aware of that. Well, see, I take the classes because I am too. I don't know nothing. You know, sometimes, you know, like I said, I think it's me, and then it turns out it is Facebook. Now, being in this over a year now, sometimes, like, I'll just say, okay, guys, what happened? And sometimes it's me, but a lot of times it's not. And I don't know if you've been reading about what's going on with them. They're in all kinds of trouble. They got all kinds of lawsuits, all kinds of stuff going on. And there's this big conspiracy thing going on. I don't know what's true. Sometimes conspiracies are true. But, they're in a lot of trouble. And their stock, like, dropped. And some people are under the theory, now some of the analysts are under the theory that it dropped because they're doing it deliberately to get their stock prices up because they know they're going to be paying taxes on that money. They're going after them for everything. Anything they can get money on, the government is. So they think they're playing, which isn't surprising. You know how many people hide their money offshore now. So anyways, just saying. So they got so much stuff going on. They got so many things that I think just they're trying to make more money. So they want to get on the business of like that's why the Reels thing they're paying for that right now. They lost a lot of business with TikTok. And a lot of people are using Instagram, which is them. It's them. But most of the money's going to TikTok, WhatsApp, which is a good thing because you need competition in the market. Because at one point, all that stuff that he was one of them, Zuckerberg, fighting for. If you've been watching the stuff that's going on with the internet, they were fighting to keep it so they had total control. They're monopolizing everything, these companies are. So they don't want that little guy out there coming up with new ideas like with WhatsApp and all that other stuff. So they're like fighting for their life right now. So they're looking for ways to make more money, but instead of notifying anybody, they just change the shit at random, so you don't know what's going on, So anyways, just so you know that if anything ever happens once in a while, probably wasn't me. I mean, I just was like freaking out. I'm like, what is going on now? Especially I missed a couple days last week, right? I had a bunch of full moon, man. I swear to God, it's full moon. People think I'm crazy. Well, people know I'm crazy. But ever since I could remember, when it's a full moon, I used to tell my husband, honey, the crazies are following me home. I swear to God, I had one following me one day, a couple times. This is when I lived in the country. I don't live in a city. And just things would happen, just weird stuff. It all would happen at once. Either, I was in 3 accidents in 1 week, car accidents. I wasn't driving any of the cars. 3 accidents in 1 week. One of them was when the gas prices went up in the 80s, or down to 99 cents. Guy hit somebody and he ran into our car, and 3 in 1 week. Only me, right? Full moon week. Or I'd have the most incredible luck. I'd hit the lottery. It's just weird. So anyways, this guy got a Nobel Peace Prize, black guy, nice guy. And he proved that fish go, like the salmon, and whales go a certain way, and birds will follow the telemetry of the earth, but they'll also follow the tides. And he said there's zillions of bazillions of gallons of water going across the ocean floor, and we're 99% water. And some people can really feel the pull. So when you hear me saying I'm feeling the pull, that's what I'm talking about. I was feeling it this week. It was one thing after another. I was like, good God, leave me alone. Oh, God, I'm telling you, that full moon, man. And I don't know, sometimes I don't think it really matters. Like to say, well, it's a blue moon or a yellow moon, or it looks like a moon to me. I don't know. Things just start to happen. Swear to God. My daughter, I lived in Charleston. My husband's in the Navy, went all over, and I stayed there. And I did all the Navy doctors and nurses, mostly nurses. They were all male. And they would come in and tell stories like you wouldn't believe the things that happened. And my daughter will tell you, even when she worked in the nursing homes, I'm lighting it up now. Little yellow, little white, little of the sap green, a little lighter. And tell all these stories. It was always like a full moon. It's like, I remember the nurses were sitting in my chair and I'm cutting their hair, and he's like saying, man, I don't want to work this weekend. She goes, yeah, it's payday, full moon. No one wanted to work. Because it's like, my husband was drinking, and he cut himself. It wasn't me. Somebody cut themselves. But I remember my husband was drunk. He couldn't go with me. I had the baby. Baby was in the car. I couldn't stay in the hospital with the baby because there was a brawl. 2 drunk Navy guys were fighting. And there's this woman, it's all like the same night. There's some woman screaming, this is emergency room, screaming that she was having a baby. And they kept saying, I was like, she's having a baby. No, she's not. She was down from like the 5th or so, whatever, the crazy ward. It was like pandemonium. It was a payday weekend. So I went and sat in the car. I says, when you guys are ready for it, we might have to come back in the morning. So they bound it all up and sent me home. Unbelievable, right? It was crazy that weekend. We were young. He was a Navy guy out with his buddies, Good old days, actually. So yeah, full moon. Same thing in the shop. I was just telling my girlfriend about it. I worked in the mall. Oh my god. Don't ever work in a mall. And I was just telling her about when he was in the Navy, all the stuff that used to happen on full moon weekend. Right when I said guy walks over to the counter and he goes, "Can you give me a haircut?" His eyes were crusted. Well, it turned out he was part of, like, they had a whole bunch of guys that were in those homes, like a rescue mission for people that are, that were bums. And she just looked at me. I looked at her. I said, "Come on back." Cut his hair. He was nice, but crazy. Oh my God. True stuff. Couldn't make that up. So now I'm doing a little lighter color. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go across the bottom, and I'm going to add some foliage on the ground. So you guys, it's fun playing with the foliage. I mean, it's one of these things where you're not really doing a lot of stuff with the brush. You're just kind of pushing it in. That's what he does. You see, he just pushes it in. So just take your brush and shove it. Don't be afraid of it. Now this was here from last week, but it's dulled out a little bit. Something you guys will notice with our acrylic paint, you don't see it so much with oil kind of over time, which freaks me out because you do a painting and then a year later it's darker, like that one got darker on me. Our acrylics will get dark. So don't be afraid if you get them a little too dark or a little too light, because they will darken up. But the thing with this is you can go back with some, I find with dark greens, browns, and blacks, and they look good with a little varnish on. You can buy varnish and do it. So just to make this look fresh, I'm going to go back over this part again. And I'm just pushing and taking the brush and shoving it different ways and just get some of the paint off here. I put some light in here. That's all. Just kind of pushing. See how I'm pushing it? Just pushing it. Making some happy little trees. Alright, so now we're going to do this other tree. Same thing. I'm going to use the darker green. Got my round brush. Mostly, take it, pull it out, and then dab through it. Pull out the paint and then dab through it. Oh yeah, my kids are all gone. My grandchildren live with me, but they're still in bed. He works nights. They moved within me right around when Grandpa died. My husband died. My daughter married a man. Well, they've been together like 8-9 years, but 3-4 years ago she married him, and he has 300-acre. He's a 5th-generation farmer. Well, they're not really farmers. They lived there for a while, but their dad lives way up in the Adirondacks, and they split their time in between everybody. So, but originally, before she got remarried, they lived here. So there's no work up there. And anything that is work, it's McDonald's and Dollar General and all those small towns. It's all it is. Everywhere, all over. So my family, there's a bunch of us. I have 6 brothers, 5 living, have good jobs. So my brother's a manager at the Byrne Dairy. They make the milk in the big tankers, They sterilize it and hydrolyze it, or whatever the hell they do, pasteurize it. So he got him a job there. So he's working 10, 14-hour days. So he's sleeping. He'll be up shortly. I got to take him to work at 8. And then the other one, she was going to Wells College, and she's looking at Fredonia. They didn't have enough physics things for her. She's looking at another one too, physics. So in the meantime, she's going to be working with my other sister, and they make Cool-Whip bowls called Berry Plastics. So they got jobs down here. So this is not a big city. People hear me say Syracuse is medium. It's like not quite big enough to be considered New York City, but it's country enough that people are wearing cowboy boots, and we get a lot of farmers, a lot of rednecks. So, it's a little bit of everything. We have a lot of Irish and Italian influence, but no, my older kids are no. One's is a administrator at NYU for film School of Tisch. That's like people like Scorsese and all that went. She's met a lot of famous people. Oh my God. She's brilliant, though. She was always real exceptionally smart, so I can't say that she needed to go to college. There's nothing else she could do. She's a book nut. That's just insulating my attic. She wines and dines people and talks them into going to college. It's the most expensive college in the United States, and she got that job. It's really a long story. She worked very hard. Lived out of her car the last couple of years. She worked very hard. Went to a very private college. It's very expensive. And I mean, she worked hard. I mean, if I could ever say that about one kid, she did, and she deserves whatever she's got now. But she got into this one college, St. John Fisher, transferred to another one. You know, the colleges, that's why I get so mad. They talk the kids into going longer and spending more money and try different things. Not at $50,000 a year, you're not trying different things, honey. If you go in for that, which they talked her out of it, she tried something else. Only she ended up still being, she got her MFA, Master of Fine Arts, because she's a writer that's she should be doing. And she mostly writes, at one point she was just writing grants, like $1 million grants. And she bring back this place in Rochester called the Little Theater. It almost closed because it needed $1 million worth of equipment to go to go to digital. So it almost closed. Her and two other guys put the whole thing back together and got it back on the map. And she got a newspaper and everything. It was pretty famous. So in the meantime, WCNY, which NPR owns it, talk about luck, bought the theater. All right, so it's thriving. It's doing well. It turns out that NPR and WCNY are buying small independent films because the big ones don't want it. You know, they're all about whatever. So that's how she ended up getting a job in New York with another company through NPR. It wasn't NPR; it's an affiliate NPR. So doing the same thing before, she was just writing out grants, but it was very boring. It wasn't, you know, like with the theater. She was in the plays and she was hiring musicians, and they have their own like membership, and some of them have been there for 30, 40, 50 years. And she would meet with the members at big members parties. They did she got the early things of what's that was on Channel 24. They all had to dress up and stuff from the 30s. What was it? I watched the whole thing. She had all the tapes for the 5th season. I was so mad I couldn't watch them. So things like that, really cool stuff. So when she went to this other job, it was kind of boring, but the money was good, and she needed to get him to New York because he was an actor, and he took film at RIT, another smart cookie, right? And he's done films with, oh, what's his face? I don't remember anybody's name. Honestly, I don't know half of it. I just listen to the stories. So that's how they ended up in New York, because she knew if we didn't do this when we was younger, it's never going to happen. So she's got a really good job. But she goes to interview for that job. She heard it through a friend. And they told her, no, we don't want you to do these grants. We want you to do what you did at Little. We want you to wine and dine and talk about what you do and what your vision for the school and what our vision is. And that's what she does. So she administrates that for the Tisch school, school Tisch. I know, TISCH. Look it up. So that's a really good job. So then my middle one, she's a nurse. And now she's got this farm, and she's like, you know, baling hay and taking care of cows. And, you know, she's a real, true, honest, American farmer. And she loves it. Oh, God, she loves it. And then my youngest one, she's the one who had a lot of learning disabilities, is a manager at Marshall's. And she's making god-awful money. And she's not even, she wants to be CEO, and she told them she's going to do it. And they believe her. I do too. So she's got a really good job. She has no children. I just had the 3. And the oldest one that was married before, that's with the farmer now, she had 2 kids. They're the ones living here. And then my one that was in New York, so busy with her career, she had a miscarriage before they got married. They were together 8 years before they got married. Was string pregnant. And I don't like telling here on my business, but she ended up having that little 4-year-old baby girl that we got. We waited 15 years for her. She's a little pissed, a little redhead. Oh, she's spoiled rotten. I love every minute of it. Just love her to death. Good God. So they're all gone. You know, but I have brothers and sisters, but they don't live around here either. Nobody stays near where they used to live. You know, it's a different world now, you know. It's just different. It's totally different. Let me put this back on there. Used to be, you know, your grandma, everybody lived in the same neighborhood. Shoot, even grandma works now. You know. You under the weather, Judy? You know, this is the time of the year I think a lot of people, especially like, I think you're staying, Judy, you get a little depressed. I'm like ready to like kill somebody. I mean, this has got to end. I mean, it's finally daylight now, like, you know, after 5, so that's a big plus. The sun ain't been out today or yesterday. It's 55 degrees though. Weird. I'm hot. But tonight it's going to drop down. It's going to be below 0 by tomorrow. No wonder people get sick. But without the sun, I tell people all the time, without the sun, it's depressing. I can handle the cold. I can bundle up. Without the sun, it's just, the house just looks dreary. Even my plants flop a little bit, you know? You need the sun. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pick up that green. Yeah, so my kids don't even live near me. You know, they're too far away. So, like the other, she's coming tomorrow, the one that's up in, she's about, you know, in Marshall. She's about 40 minutes from here. So she's going to come visit. We were looking at, I wanted to go to that Van Gogh thing they got in Rochester, but I'm not going to be able to do it. And then my one in New York, she had to get back. She was up here 3 times when her father was dying. You know, she's got a big job. She had to go back. Him too, he works on Wall Street. He's a videographer. He makes all the film for Citibank. So they had to go back. So I still got some of their Christmas presents. I says, well, you know something, don't worry about it. So she always comes down in the spring anyways, so they'll be down. They got a bunch of projects for everybody. So, yeah, they don't live near here. Not with me. It's a good thing. I want them to be on their own, you know. I miss not having them around. But she comes around with the baby. I talked to FaceTime with the baby when she's in the mood because she's spoiled. Oh, God, that girl's spoiled. And then Jackie's down once a week, and the one with the farm, she's down here a lot because her kids are here. And she comes down, she makes food and takes us out to eat. Both of them do, the two that come here all the time. Now, the one that's up in New York, all I gotta do is say I want something or think something's cute. Next thing you know, it's in the mail. I kind of been doing gnomes because they're in style, so they think I'm in love with gnomes. So doesn't she send me 2 gnomes with hearts on them? And then the other one comes home with 3 Irish gnomes. I got 5 gnomes sitting on a thing over there. But you know, I'm not really that crazy about them, but I paint them because they're in style, you know. You gotta paint what's turning me. I like them. I can say I don't like them, but... Alright, so now I'm gonna lighten it up. Some yellow, little white. Tone that white. That's too light. It'll be too limey. So tone it down. One of either the yellow ochre or a little bit of that burnt sienna. Just tone it down a little bit. You want a little yellow on the yellowy side, though. A little yellowy. Then I'm going to kind of go over with, make some highlights on this. So, I mean, the kids are good to me, but they're not here. Truth is, I'd rather have them here. I got family whose kids, you know, they got good jobs, and they're around the house, and, you know, and I'm so jealous. I have a sister-in-law who has, like, God, how many? She's got too many grandchildren. They're all freaking cute. They're like, I think she's got 8 grandchildren. 9? I don't know. She's got a lot. And they're all getting big now, but they're, you know, they're still on the small side, you know. But, you know, my kids are busy getting a career going. I don't have to help them out. You know what I mean? And for a lot of years I did. Oh, God. Yes, I did. Okay. So I'm going to make like a little bit of a brown, a yellow, and a brown. And I didn't mind, I'm not complaining about it. But, you know, my poor body's all wore out, all broke out, all that working. Nothing left. It's a little bit, you know, this painting I think is bigger than mine. I was looking at it. He usually did a 16 by 20, but he would also do 18 by 24s, which I do sometimes. See how close that looks? I don't know if I got the tree too big or if this is actually, and I think it's on a bigger canvas. So don't worry about it if it's not as far apart. It could be this, either he did a smaller trees. I'm thinking he did 18 by 24s now that I think about it. This, like, it would be like, about like that. See, that's 16. Maybe 20, and then like maybe about like that, 2 more inches. So yeah, it's a little bigger canvas. All right, so now I'm gonna take that green, add more yellow to it. I'm gonna take the lighter green, which is the sap green. I'm gonna add some yellow to it, a little white, a little bit. And I'm going to same thing. I'm gonna kind of mess around with these right here. Make some little doers. Remember he called them doers. I think he used the 1 inch. Call them doers, some little doers. I love that guy. He was great. But you know, he got his techniques from that German guy. Don't ask me his name. I always have to go look. But If you ever look up Bob Ross on YouTube, he's usually right in the lineup somewhere, that guy. Need a little bit of that darker green too. It's a little too light here. Make sure that brush is kind of flared out so it's dry brushed. There you go. Move that brush around. A little darker here too. Now they got like he put a few sticks in here and he left like kind of a path, I guess you would call it. It looks like kind of a path. I'm gonna bring this all the way down like this. Yeah, he kind of, let's finish this other side. Same thing, greens and yellows and whites, and he kind of did this side like right here. Kind of move that brush around. Put a little dark in there to make sure you got some dark in there. You gotta have darks and lights. Gonna have like kind of a path there. I'm gonna take that fan brush I had. I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of that yellowy color, a little white, a little yellow. Kind of make a little kind of a path. Just go back and forth. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of that darker brown around the edges. You want to kind of make the sides. You could do the dark brown and like the dark green and kind of do the edges where the shadow would, the limbs would be up here and the shadows would be behind it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Dark green and the dark brown. Kind of just go right behind here. It'll give you, it'll lay it down. Maybe a little bit here. A lot of yellow too. A lot of yellow. Some yellow. I wouldn't mind if they were back here, my kids, though. If you guys remember way back in the day, it wasn't uncommon to have a bunch of people living with you. We always had some people around. I had an uncle that was real slow. He lived with my grandmother the whole time. He had an uncle never married. He paid the rent on the house. You know, that's the way it was. It's different. I guess when I had darker green, I would take my, getting pretty handy with this brush. I like this better than that other big one. Maybe that was the problem all along. Maybe I just can't do the big ones. Need some dark in here. Put some dark in. Okay. Get it a little lighter on this side because the sun would hit this. So I'm going to take that lighter green and yellow and I'm kind of hit here with some little doers, little brushes, little bushes. So I'm still working on I'm in the middle of taking these classes, so I got all involved in that. And like I told you, I had a lot of stuff going on this week. Yeah, all involved with that. Hacking my card. That's like the third time this year I've had something happen. This was, we believe it was might have been one of the people that worked there because like there was a charge on there for a place that we never go. And that was a clue. I mean, we do go there, but very rarely. And I wouldn't use a credit card there. I'd use cash. So, you know, Dollar General. And I didn't start even using my cards for restaurants until, you know, until we were all like in. And it was DoorDash. And my granddaughter said that when she was in, you know, down in her college, which is quite far from here, and she had a problem with them too. So that kind of leads me to believe that it might be internal because it's like 100 miles from here. So I don't know what's going on, but they refunded all the money. I'm going to go check and see if the rest of the balance is in there. So there you go. A little dark here too. I'll just put a little bit more there. Now I need to put some a little bit lighter. I think a little lighter on this side of the trees. I might do a little light's gonna hit right here. It looks like the light's coming through, so I'm gonna, not in his but in mine. So I'm gonna kind of Put a little light right in here. Now he's got some color. He took the liner. Oops. Took a liner. And he made those limbs show up a little bit. He took a little white. I got a black here, but I can use a little of that ochre. Or blue even would work. Blue works. A lot of white. And make yourself some stems. Just a tiny bit. You don't want to not show. Just a small brush. Just so, whoops, there's too much there. Just so you can see a little bit of the limbs. I got too much on there, so I can go back over with my green. Should use a liner brush. That's okay. I can fix a little bit. Use your liner. Sorry, use your liner. That was a liner. You can see it though, right? Yeah. It's always something. So I didn't even call this. My car got crackle on the front light because I hit it on the snowbanks. Are wicked big here. Well, they melted a lot, but they're still big. So I kind of want a little doer here too. Put one here. Yeah, it's a little bit not so big. Oh, to get too big on that one. Ah. It's okay. Happy accidents. Happy accidents. Just kind of do this bit, cover it up. This one. Just so they show a little bit. Right. Right. Now right on, I gotta get a liner brush this time. Right, so liner brush here. My brushes are all screwed up because I had to, when I did that class, I had to have a bunch of liners. I had to go through everything. It's very detailed. Let me make little doers again with the green and yellow. Right here. I need more. There you go. There you go. Make a few light ones too. Some white and yellow. Make a few light ones. Too light, but they're okay. All right. Now I'm going to take the liner brush. I'm going to kind of just make a water line here. Let me water that up a little bit. Too thick. I don't think his paints were as thick as these ones. These I use for palette knifing, so they gotta be watered down a little bit. But his paints were oil, and they're not as thick. So if you're going through this and like it's going on thicker than in the picture, that's why. Because they're different from oil paints. Because he was an oil painter, and they were his paints. And you can pick them up, you'll notice they're different. But they're also, if you don't do watercolor, you wouldn't know really, unless you've used a lot of watercolor. All right, so now there's a reflection. So I'm going to take another big brush. I'm going to take a little green, both those greens, a dark and a light, and I'm just going to kind of dry brush this on. I'm going to keep pouncing it until it's barely coming off. All right, and I'm going to kind of, because this is so much smaller, I'm just going to kind of make the indication of some trees here. Go back through that stuff you pounced off and pick up a little bit at a time. Just a little bit. Try to do like 3 trees, a little bushy right here, kind of a separate one there. Just keep pouncing. We've done this before. You know, that painting that we did with the reflection in the water, that's still out there. I get more compliments on that painting. It was crazy the way I did it, but I had seen other ones like that, and I did one before like that. That just keeps you from being distracted, you know. So I'm going to dry brush over some of this again with the big brush, and I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of white on the corner of the brush. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dry brush it. Because this brush is a lot wet. I'm not going to be able to use this. This is too wet. I got a small one that's dry. Pick up the white. Just a tiny bit. You want to dry brush it on over the top of this. So it looks like there's water over top. So you don't need much. That's it. Right, I think I need a little more blue under there, so I'm going to pick up some blue. I'm going to kind of dry brush that underneath this island. It's a little too white right there for me. There you go. Alright, I think that's a done painting. I am going to kind of go over these sides a little bit. This was driving me nuts I was looking at earlier. Kind of want to, a little lighter. I want to paint these sides a little bit. Well, normally you would frame this. Oops. If you guys know anything about framing, does anybody know much about it? Most of these paintings that I do for you guys that are on the easel, 99% of them are 16 by 20 inch. It's a standard size. A lot of artists use it. It's the most common. They had 18 by 24. And you can buy these frames at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. They pretty much always have those two sizes, 16 by 20, 18 by 24. And they slip right into the frame, and then you gotta, I just did one. I guess we're gonna do a class on framing these. So easy. You can get as fancy or not get as fancy as you want, but it's fairly easy, and the frames are real easy to do. You can buy them online, but I like to wait until Michael's has a good sale and use my coupons. Of course, coupons ain't as good as they used to be. So if you want to frame something like this, you know, usually like something like this you want to frame, you know. My big painting right there. I could show you how to do it, not that complicated. If you guys get a frame for it, 16 by 20 for this or 18 by 24, just measure them with a measuring stick, you'll know. Let me know and I'll walk you through it. Not hard. So all you need is little like little detail nails, what do they call them? I usually buy one of those kits, and it's got the little thing with the zigzag on it with the two nails. I put that up here. Or I'll do a wire. I do 2 nails and a wire. It's usually in the kit. And then I'll do the little nails. I put the painting down in there, and I just go in the side. Usually like 1, 2 on the bottom, 1 on each side, 1 on the top. And it keeps it, you just keep nailing it until it feels tight. So easy to do. It doesn't take me no time at all. Now, if I'm going to sell it, sometimes I'll take it up to like the place to sell. Oh, shoot. I'll make little tabs. I might have a muscle problem here. I'll make little tabs and put my name, where the painting came from, when I did it, you know, in the back of the painting. Let's do this later. But so you kind of want to paint this up a little bit. I found like on Pinterest, I think, I found tags, and I copied them off there, and I made my own, because they want way too much money for them. So, anyways, you can do your own. You can make them. I do this thing called Canva, too, if you guys know what that is. It's, I gotta fix that. It's, I use it to make my flyers, my cards, my ads. It's not cheap. It's like $400 a year. But I make everything. But I can also make those little tags, and then I just tape them on the back with the year I did it, and I sign it. If I'm going to name it, I name it, and then I tag the back of it, and that's how I sell it. But it used to be I would go and I would buy the brown paper. But, you know, a lot of conservators rip that off the back now. So I tape it all on. You don't got to do all that no more. So anyways, used to. There used to be, I would never show a piece of art unless it was framed. If you try to get, try to go into a, which I have, competition, and they won't, unless it's like a modern piece of art, something like this, they might not take unless it's framed. So if you ever think about doing that, just be aware. But it's not really that hard to frame. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So let me know. But I think we're going to put that on the bucket list. That's another class. Yeah, I kind of started out, the very first class I ever took, she's the one that showed us. So I thought it was something special. I didn't do too much framing for a long time. I was slower then, not very prolific, didn't have time. And so years later, I was going to take a test, got a book, took a class. It was the same thing, so it hasn't changed much, And then I have a friend that big pieces of canvas that I get a good deal on. They're a high quality canvas. You can't buy them in the store, but he gives me a really good deal, and he basically does it the old-fashioned way. They have a stretcher, and they stretch it out onto the frame. He builds wood, certain type of wood, cuts it out, stretches it over. They, steam it if it's a round one. He does round ones. He was out of the round ones. I wanted one. And it's basically the same thing. It hasn't changed much. Now they do the, Michaels has like those box canvas. They have the big canvas like I did my gnomes on. They're called gallery canvas. They have a nice 6-side. It looks more professional. So if you want to do that, you can do that too. They make that in a 16 by 22. That you don't need to frame. You can't really frame it because your frame would be like that. Unless you know how somebody knows how to build something like that. So that's the painting. You can see it, can't you? Sometimes it's better if I pull it up. I pull it out. Let's pull it out. It looks different. Still wet. Hold on. It's so weird. This pinky throws me off so much. You see that one? Well, come on, phone. It's pretty, right? All right, so I hope you guys do this one. It's going in the archives. I gotta paint this top too. With the other ones. Like I said, these stay right in here. They can't go nowhere. The only way people can see these paintings, I'll be painting them this way, as if they're in the club. I said, why can't you just, you can't. I mean, I knew that, but I didn't think about it when I told people that I was going to start that, doing little classes inside there, which is fine, because I know people that do it, but I'm not going to do nothing fancy that I'm not going to be able to archive. Some little stuff that I've already done, or some simple things that I'll probably do again, because these people ain't seen much anyways. So, just so you're aware of that. So, that's over here. Yeah, so, next week, haven't even thought about it. I do have, when we did the palette knife, there was another one that's really nice too. I'm going to post it. It's right on here. I was looking at it this morning or last night, and I was looking at it. And it's really pretty. A little more complicated. So I might just do it in brush. It's not a palette knife, it's a brush. The other one was too, but it came out really good. I put that one on the palette knife, my palette knife group I'm in. Everybody loved it. And that was easy. That was only like 2-3 classes. Not a big broad strokes. That's what's nice about the palette knife. You guys, you can do big chunky strokes and speed up, and it comes with doing it like that. You gotta know your colors and your light, and then you could put those big chunks. You just pick out the color and put it where you need to. Whereas you get into something more detail, you do that a bazillion times. You got all these tiny strokes, a lot of blending. So with something like that, it's a little easier. So you guys should play with it. Maybe do a flower. Just see if you can do big strokes with the flower. But yeah, I got my notebook here. So we'll put that in the notebook that we're going to need to learn how to frame. Learn how to frame. And I can show you all the other ways to frame. I did a video I'm going to release next month for you guys, and I just did some. I'm doing some more in this other thing. And wet palettes, because I was having problems keeping it wet, so I did a whole series on that about keeping your palette wet. I don't think about it so much, but lately, since I've been on this side, really having problems keeping my paint wet, so we're going to talk about that. I'll put that video out. Learn how to frame paintings. Put that in the bucket list, right? And we got a few other things we need to go back, but I'm going to do like, if at some point, or when at some point I get some new people, I'll probably go over a lot of the same stuff. So I need to, and there's not that many. We've only done like 8 paintings. I need to go over every one of those and see exactly what I taught in each one. I never wrote them down. That's why I said I need to start keeping them. And there's some parts I might actually edit out before I get too many. I don't really care. I am what I am, but there's some stuff in there I should probably like look over. But I knew some of my paint. I started doing a color. That's why I did another color blocking earlier, a few months ago, because I was afraid that if someone didn't watch that video, they wouldn't see the color blocking. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I did a few things extra that I'm going to put in there, because I'm afraid that if they don't like that painting, once I get associated a couple years long here and I get a few people and they don't want to do that painting, they're not going to learn the color blocking or whatever. So I wrote down notes, like I said, the last 3 or 4 that I did, so I know what I did and that I made another video, but I need to go through the first ones. And the first ones I was really kind of nervous and didn't know what I was doing, so I need to go over some of that. But that goes with the territory. So anyways, guys, next week, same time, same station. It looks like it might even be in the event section, and then they're going to call you. They're going to send you a thing. So I'm going to put you guys... I was doing that at first, and they were giving me a hard time. They wanted paid people. They wanted like paid... Oh, I do paid events now, but I wasn't doing it because I don't trust them. And they wouldn't let me do a PayPal link. So now I'm doing a PayPal link. And now they'll only let me PayPal link in the event section. So now if I want a PayPal link, I either got to go Constant Contact, my email. It's so complicated. Or I have to wait till somebody asks for something. I'll say, if you want a tracer, let me know. And then I can put the link down in the bottom, but I can't put it at the top. Because normally, to save time, what would you do? I put that link up at the top and push the button. I can put it in, put a click, and then let me do that. It's all about this. Anyways, I don't know if the bots are listening. So I'll see you guys later. This weather is depraving. Thank you. This weather is... I always loved Bob Ross. Okay, I think he was a player. Yes. If you watch a show about him, he had an affair with that woman for like a long time. And he had a wife. There was somebody else. I'm thinking, he talked to me like that, my pants have been off in a minute. I mean, he was just so sweet. And I don't think he was like that all the time. Because if he was a drill sergeant, I don't think so. Because no. So I thought he was very attractive. So, everybody's sick of being home. Yeah, everybody, by this time of the year, everybody's like, I had it. And my yard is a mess. My front porch, you guys see my front porch. It's like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fall over something. He's got the snowblower. My husband kept it a little neater. He's good. He does it for me. But my husband was here. He'd be yelling at him. One glove here, one glove over there. Big old big old boots in the middle when you walk in, and the rug's all shoved to one side, and boxes he didn't break up to put out in the trash. And I'm like, okay. I complain, and then they complain that I bitch. So it's like, what do you want? They're kids, though. So Jennifer says, just tell them. I said, well, I get sick of, I'm not their mother. So I'll be glad when the winter's over and get all the stuff off the porch. And then it'll be grass and, that kind of stuff. So can't win. But yeah, I'm ready for it to be over. Yeah. All right, guys, so you have a good night. Like I said, I'm going to be on Saturday afternoon. I don't know what I'm doing. I have a whole plan. I had a whole plan last week, and I got to go back to the planning board. I got notes everywhere for the next couple of months. I want to work on I got to kind of talk people, not talk them into it, but get them motivated and see if they want to just paint or do the palette knife. But really, it's got to be both, because you can't really palette knife without knowing how to paint. So, still figuring that out. I got a bunch of stuff ready for it. Yeah, I'm ready. And I'm going to do a big thing on inspiration, too. We need to talk about that inspiration. I got to finish that. I downloaded a bunch of stuff. Got a bunch of notes here. And just to get you guys motivated in the mood. And this is the worst time of year to do it. All right, guys. Good night. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Thanks as always. Thank you.